This is my 1936-37 thereabouts National Duolian. It was pretty much headed for the scrap yard when I bought it for pretty cheap. The body was covered in rust. Surprisingly, the original cone was in excellent condition. Biggest problem was that the headstock had been broken off and was missing. I could tell there's enough left that I could tell that it had been a solid headstock. You could still see the two tuner holes at the bottom of it. So to fix it, what I did was made a new headstock. I put what's called a scarf joint on it. Actually, a lot of people build new guitars using that technique. Basically, I used the table saw to cut a clean cut, probably to about the middle of the between the first and second frets. Then, a new piece of wood. I used Swiss pear wood to do it. Glued on there. Shaped the headstock to match the shape of a late 30s National guitar. Since it was already so funky, I decided to go with a heavily patinated piece of copper that I had. One advantage to having this copper head plate on it is it gives it just a little bit more weight here on that end, and the guitar balances better. These 14 fret Duolians tend to be a little bit bottom heavy when you have them across your knee. They sometimes want to just kind of fall back. So this balances the guitar a little better. I added 2 carbon fiber rods to the neck, which actually continue on into the headstock to further reinforce that area. Reused the original fretboard, had to clean it up, it was in pretty bad condition, and refretted it. For the body, I just cleaned up the rust, knocked off as much as I could, but I still wanted it to have a kind of funky look. This guitar originally had been a silver Duco finish guitar, which I knew once I removed the neck and the fretboard underneath the fretboard, it still had the original finish in that spot there. Somebody had stripped it and then spray painted it gold. And then, once that headstock had broken off, it probably sat in a damp basement for God knows how many years. Also, you can see there's a dent right here, which I couldn't completely repair. I can never get it back to perfect again, but it's about 50% better than it was when I got it. Just used some wooden blocking inside to support it, and some very heavy clamping to pull it back together again. I think it's an excellent sounding guitar. It's actually, I've owned, I don't know how many steel body Nationals over the years, and I really think it's the best sounding steel body National I've ever owned. I think the only National that I have that might beat it, but not by much, is my 1929 wood body Duolian. So this is really brought back from the grave and good for another 100 years or so. Thanks.